Welcome to episode 5 of Geeking Out with the Foos, presented by FooBarShow.com, where we talk everything geek, including movies, TVs, comic book news, and video games. I am Joe C. Foon, and up with
Josh
and
El Foo
and
Seth.
Remember to like and follow us on our socials and rate and review on all podcasting platforms. Foos!
Yes.
What's cracking, man?
Oh, just con stuff.
What's happening? What's happening around us, man? It's a little loud. What the fuck?
Sure
What
is,
happened
dude.
to Filthy Martini Studios?
Well, we are currently at, we traded in the Filthy Martini Studios for LA Comic-Con at the convention
Is that
center.
what all this is? Is that why I'm dressed up?
Yes, sir.
You're dressed up?
I know.
know.
I thought this was his regular outfit.
I thought
Fooled
he was
me.
trying to prove a point.
I know. The Foosy over here is dressed up as Wilfred.
Wilfred, and it's been a hit. Everybody seems to dig it. At least everybody who can recognize me from the show.
And a lot of people have been recognizing him from the show.
And Foo, you actually have been getting a lot of Wilfred calls, and you haven't even heard them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
these floppy ears really cover up a lot of what I can hear.
All I hear when we pass by is Wilfred, Wilfred, and he's just walking right by.
Oh man, just strutting around like I own the place.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And we got the Foo over here as Monsieur Incroyable.
Mission incroyable.
Yes.
We could call her Mr. Incredible, but he's not blonde.
He's not blonde, so all he's missing is the little French mustache.
Damn, that would have been...
I have a permanent marker, Foo.
You fucked up.
I have a permanent marker.
it's all
Foo.
good.
He doesn't want to.
And you're Fat Tiny Rick.
I am Fat Tiny Rick. That, you know what? I'll take it. I'll wear it.
Fat Tiny Rick.
Tiny Rick.
No, Fat Tiny Rick.
Fat Tiny Rick.
There you
Fat
go.
Tiny Rick.
He's got
Steph, who are you supposed to be?
I'm supposed to be Christian Slater's character, Mr. Robot, from Mr. Robot.
Nice.
Exciting stuff.
Well done.
Thank you.
Said it just like Christian Slater too.
He sure did. What does he sound like nowadays? Steph? He
Yeah,
turned
sounds
in.
like Steph now. Yeah,
turned into
he's
Steph.
turning into Steph.
It's turning into me.
Poor Kristen Slater.
Yeah.
So, Foosy, what'd you see here at the con?
All kinds of stuff, man. I'm really enjoying all the cosplay. A lot of cool Deadpool stuff that they're putting up with. We just saw, oh my god, a Jollibee Pop.
Jolly Bee Pop.
Steph bought a Jollibee Pop. For anybody who's not from
Local
Southern
Pop.
California, well, I don't know if they're outside of Southern California or anything,
It's
but it's
Filipino,
a
man.
Filipino fast food
From
restaurant.
the Philippines, so yeah,
Dang
you would have to be.
food, you got told.
You would have to be from outside of Southern California, or just Filipino to understand Jollibee.
Right.
Because Jollibee
Awful food, I understand.
originated in the Philippines, and the mascot is a bee with gloves.
Terrible food.
Jollibee.
Always a bee outside on the window.
They sell
If you know what I mean.
chicken with gravy, sweet spaghetti, and all your
We need a Jollibee pool
all your good
outfit.
cheeseburger stuffs.
Well, food.
Foo, you said something about Deadpool before you got distracted.
A lot of Deadpools here that are like we just saw a Shakespeare Deadpool. I would imagine it's a Shears pool or Shakes pool or however you want to say that.
Pool spear.
There you go. This one over here with the big old mallets, like these grandiose freaking props that people are using. We just saw like these huge swords from Final Fantasy and
Yeah, two guys were dressed as different versions of Cloud, which were fucking nuts.
yeah.
We saw on the main stage a bunch of Deadpools. There was Mexipool.
Mexipool was there, yeah.
Yeah. Very large variety. There have been a lot of Jedi around here, but that may be due to the Star Wars lightsaber store that they have
A
or
lot
booth
of gray
they have.
Jedi.
A lot of gray Jedi food.
Dang.
You don't know.
I wonder what the next movies are going to be about.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
It might be. It might be about the Great Jedi. Who knows? But to expand a little bit more on the Mexican Deadpool, since they're always breaking the fourth wall, you think that they made him pay for it?
Wow.
It was torn
That's,
down. You get it.
Were you writing that down before you?
I've been waiting to crack that gem all day.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
After it made its way out of the think tank, I guess.
We actually got to see the Office reunion. That was pretty
A
awesome.
reunion of sorts. Kate Flannery, Creed Baxton, the guy who plays Kevin, Oscar
Brian Bob-
Nunez. Yep.
Leslie David Baker
and
food.
the rest. Yeah, and then just him.
Phyllis Smith food.
Oh, and Phyllis.
Smith.
That's right.
And Creed.
And Creed
Yeah, I
Bratton.
said Creed.
Creed Bratton as
Creed Bratton.
That guy always has it on. Like, he's just on. That guy's just on for, like, all the witty banter that he's always about, man. Like,
Oh, dude, it was great. The first off, warning, telling everyone to please not sacrifice animals to the cult of greed.
yeah.
You know, he appreciates all the pictures in their closets with the incense burning, but please no animal sacrifices. Let's save the animals, guys.
Yeah.
Save the animals.
Yeah, it was cool. Yesterday we had we were here on Friday. We're here. Today's Saturday, and we saw some cool stuff yesterday in regards to like what was up on the main stage. Today we also saw Elijah Wood.
Yeah, he was there.
It's a shame I wasn't closer enough to him that I can like maybe harass him from the crowd.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean,
it's pretty far away.
You're pretty far away. There was only one other Wilfred-esque character. It
Deadpool.
Was Deadpool.
Yeah. Willpool.
Poolfred.
Poolfred.
There we go.
There we go. Poolfred.
Or yeah, Deadfred. Well, that doesn't sound nice.
Yeah.
How about Deadpool?
Well, no, that's too. No, well, because he was.
man.
Because he was also Wilfred. It was pretty much Wilfred wearing the Deadpool mask.
But you don't like Joe C when he's mad.
Yeah, you wouldn't like me when I'm mad.
He'll be Hulk Wilfred.
Yeah.
Yep.
What stuff have you seen, man?
Well, I actually did like that trailer they showed for Daniel Doesn't Exist.
Yeah.
That looked, or Daniel's Not There.
It's kind of like if Wilfred was a scary movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like they said it was along the lines of like Donnie Darko or Jacob's Ladder. They took inspiration from a lot of those types of movies, and it looks pretty crazy from his.
Like a Fight Club situation where like some guy that he can see is making him do things, but he's not really there, and he has to figure that out along the way.
Yeah, and it looks pretty crazy. It's by his production company, Spectrovision.
Yep.
That also did Mandy, which apparently got pretty great reviews. I still haven't seen it. I need to get on.
I haven't either, but I heard it got really good reviews.
Yeah, I keep hearing great things about it, and it's available right now. I think we can watch it anywhere, stream it anywhere at the moment. So we got to get on that. But speaking of streaming, we saw El Camino last night.
We did see El Camino last night. It was amazing, dude. It really takes you on a ride. Pardon the pun. About what ends up happening to Jesse after he gets out of that crazy situation he was in, and all the mental shit that he goes through.
Dude, that was crazy. Yeah, I mean, because where they leave off in Breaking Bad, we just see him drive away. Like we have absolutely no idea what happened.
They complete Walter's story, but not Jesse's. So this was completing Jesse's story.
Yeah.
Because his character was that important to the show.
Once
Heisenberg, it was one half of the show, pretty much.
Once Heisenberg went off the walls and went to like Alaska himself. He went to Alaska himself, right? And he was just living there.
Yeah.
Before he decided to come back.
And save Jesse. Yeah, and it took a whole year for him to actually do that and save him.
And in the meantime, Jesse was getting tortured in a cage.
Which is insane. He's treated like a wild animal. Like they had him tethered to, in the movie, they have him tethered to the garage, like a rack on the garage.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Great movie. Vince Gilligan.
God damn it.
Once again, he delivered. Great job. Everyone, if you don't have Netflix, just borrow someone else's password and watch El Camino.
Yeah.
I mean, I know not everyone can afford Netflix right now.
It was a very satisfying story as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, really kind of... Because I didn't know that I had doubts about what was happening while he was in the cage. I just thought, Jesse was in a cage for an extended amount of time. And now they explained all the bullshit that he had to go through, which is crazy.
That's nuts. That's
and then once now he's out, he's just a guy who has nothing to lose. So he's doing what he has to do to survive and get away from the cops because he's on his way to Alaska too.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I honestly was great. Again, best way they could end it.
I love all the moments in the show where it's kind of cliffhanger-esque and he's in imminent danger.
Yeah.
Like, that was part of the original show I liked a lot, and they brought that like 3 or 4 times to the movie, so it was a perfect movie.
Yeah, great. Steph, what do you think?
I really enjoyed the movie. Sadly, I fell asleep.
Oh, God damn it.
You know what? It was the con. I just had way too much fun yesterday, and I took myself out, and I knocked out on the couch in a position where my arm fell asleep, and my glasses were pushed up against the bridge of my nose, so I made a little indent, and... But, the parts that I saw were satisfying, and I will go ahead and watch the last half of it.
You're the worst.
You and Josini didn't watch the rest of it.
The last 30 minutes are a little spotty for me. I was in and
It
out.
was like the
Before that,
best
too.
part.
Fuck yourselves.
But it was the best part.
Yeah, well, I'll have to rewatch it. It'll give me an
That's
excuse.
what I just said. Wow. Thanks, Foob. Your vote of confidence is reassuring.
Good for me.
Well, coming back to the con, we actually had a good first day interviewing, the VP of development from Legion M.
Yeah, David Baxter from Legion M took a few minutes to speak with us, and
Real nice guy.
Yeah, real cool guy. He was telling us a lot about what it takes to develop a movie, who approaches who, the collaboration that goes into it. Matter of fact, we'll just play it right now. So how does it work with these projects? Do you reach out to them? Do they reach out to you? How does the process kind of like?
Well, with Mandy, when I read the Mandy script, I knew a couple of things going in. I mean, on the surface, it seems like just a revenge fantasy, but I knew who the director was, Panos Cosmatos. Now, Panos' dad, George Cosmatos, did Tombstone, Cobra, and Rambo 2. And his dad passed away, so I knew that this was going to be an homage to those kinds of fantasy, those revenge fantasy films that his dad did. But Panos is like Stanley Kubrick. Every single frame is this beautiful thing. So,
piece of art.
Yeah. And I had worked with Nick Cage in the past, and I knew that when Nick commits to a role, he just completely commits. I mean, the guy memorizes everybody's lines. He's that good.
Yes.
People think he's like this crazy guy. He can be eccentric, but he's a total professional.
He's a chameleon.
Yes, and he dives into it. So I knew that a combination of Nick with Panos was undeniably going to be a movie that people could not ignore. And we couldn't, I couldn't convince everybody at the company at the beginning. But once we got to see some of the footage, everybody was full in. And then it went to Sundance and, did incredibly well there.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. So, we look all over the place. We also, look for articles in the news. I mean, whatever. We're always thinking, what would our fans, our members, and our investors be into? And we have a number of tools to find out. We have a thing called Impulse, where we'll do little log lines. Would you like A, B, C, or D? And some of these things are just totally made up, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes we sneak in things that we actually are looking at.
Oh, okay.
Many times when we get projects, for legal reasons, we can't reveal that much to the Legion about it ahead of time. Because what we need to do is save that news. When we announce it, we need to save the news for when we announce it.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the case of, we have a project, I can't tell you too much about it except to say, and there was an article that we kept getting sent by people at Legion M, like, dude, somebody should make this movie. And it turned out that there was a member of Legion M who had actually written a script about that person. And because it was talking about in the forums, it got to us, and it turned out the script was awesome. So hopefully we'll be making
It's nice when it works out that way.
Well, it's the best thing. Look, the best scenario is we make movies that were actually written or that a member or an investor was actually part of. Because that's the whole point of this community, is to get us all together and create a fandom that can move from project to project and get behind it. I mean, usually we make it an investment. That way anybody who gets shares can rightfully say, I own a piece of that. I mean, I own a piece of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
Right.
I mean, that's fantastic because you've got an emotional and a financial reason to want to invest and get behind it. I can't tell you, this is the coolest job I've had because, when you work for a studio or when you work for a regular production company, nobody wants to talk to the fans because they want all of the credit for themselves, and it makes no sense. It's like if you can get your people behind it, share the glory. It's all good. What happened at Sundance this year was crazy. So we have a thing called Film Scout, and what we thought is we've got over 100,000 people who are behind us. We can use them as talent scouts. We could literally, every member who's at LA Comic-Con, go find a comic book that nobody's seen before. I mean, nobody has that kind of all these people to go look for us because they're helping themselves by helping us. So we went to Sundance, and there's like about 120 films over the course of 2 weeks. And we're a small company. There's me, and there's our COO, Terry Lubroff. Without help, we'd be watching movies literally from 9 a.m. till midnight every single day. Our brains would be fried. We wouldn't be able to think straight. And what we decided to do is, let's take the log line, the brief description of every film, put it into a database, and ask everybody to vote on it and gamify it. We ask two questions. What do you want to see, and what do you think is going to do well? So you get two different things out of it. You find out, one, what do our people want? And we had like a top 10 films. Now, obviously, the upper top ones had mostly already been bought before the festival even started. But there was one film, and we would never have guessed this. It was a documentary, but it was about the making of Alien. And so we picked, our Legion essentially picked which film we would be the first film that we would buy and distribute. And it turns out it is a freaking awesome film. And
that was actually going to be our follow-up question, was how Legion M actually got involved in the documentary for the Alien movie.
It was through Film Scout. So here's the second part of it. So the second question, we were able to identify who in our Legion is good at picking. In other words, even if they pick movies that we didn't get involved with, but that those movies were successful, we could find out who's good at picking things. And they get a little Film Scout pin. And then when movies come in for us to look at, we can then approach this smaller group within the whole community and ask them, hey, what do you think about this? Because we know that your finger's on the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah.
So we can't, listen, movies we're not made by committee. Art isn't made by committee.
Yeah.
But there are ways to use the power of the crowd, the hive mind, to help you whittle down and focus what you're doing. And we think that gives us a huge competitive advantage over any other production.
Absolutely. I think when I was in high school, one of the things that I had a gripe about, for example, from some of the comic book movies that were coming out at that time, I'd be like, well, I really hope that they stay to the subject matter that I was really hoping for. No, they they Hollywooded it, So they kind of changed it, I suppose, because of the investments that were involved with it, and that's not the case with Legion M.
No, the studio has they've got a duty to minimize risk and maximize profit and monetize art, and not in that order. I mean, maximize profit's number one. So they have a different agenda. We're trying to maximize artistry first. We're trying to lean in on the creative ideas. We don't need to get rich this second. We need to build up and be a curator of what is cool and what the fans want to see. If the studios would just listen to the fans, they'd save themselves a lot of money on reshoots and redoing things. They want to make it so if it's good, they get credit.
They would avoid the Justice League debacle.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been any Justice League
or
debacle.
Batman versus Superman debacle.
No, all they had to do was go to the fans.
Yeah.
So we're the fans. That's what Legion M is.
That's fantastic.
You want to ask him about the comic book?
Yeah, so there's actually a comic book that
you're co-oping.
That you guys are co-oping.
So,
and
Girl with No
Name. Yeah.
So that's an interesting story. So a little over a year ago, friend of mine who's a director, a woman director named Tanya Wexler, knew what we were doing and got very excited about it. She said, look, I have a screenplay that won the best screenplay out of Slam Dance. It's a woman western. It's an homage to the spaghetti westerns, but I want to do it like 300 or Kingsman. I want to do a super stylized thing. And this is before the Me Too movement.
Okay.
So as a woman director, people would be, oh, the script's awesome, man. But would it be okay if somebody else directed it?
Yeah.
And she's just like,
So what the hell, man?
no, that would not be okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, she had gotten some major stars attached. And, you know, once again, they kept going back saying, well, you know, this is an action movie. And, you know, it would be better if we would. She's like, no. So she said, look, I know that you, meaning me, I had written comics for Image Comics, and so very plugged in to the comic book world since the 70s. And I knew a lot of people, you know, who actually make it. And I said, well, one thing we could do is we could do essentially a test case. Why don't we assemble an all-woman creative team and make a comic book that gives you a slice of the origin of this character, so that an audience would know about it beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always like, I can't believe, like Mortal Engines.
Yes.
So Peter Jackson, great book series, makes this movie, and they don't bother to tell anybody about it beforehand. Like, how can people get into something if they don't know about it?
Exactly. Yeah, companion comic books are like the best part.
But it's been now, and I mean, people like Paramount, Star Trek's always figured it out.
Yeah.
Where they'll do like preview books to kind of get people up to speed.
Yep. Yeah.
But we thought, okay, let's do a comic book, and let's do it on Kickstarter. You know, but just enough to get, you know, the comics made, and then we can use the comics when we go out and pitch for our partners in the studios. And everybody likes to. It's like having a.
It's like just having a storyboard in your
right
hand.
there.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, to produce this, we need to raise about $10,000. So we made our goal at $6,000, and we raised $135,000.
Whoa!
You know, so now we have all these different kinds of.
Wow.
But the other cool thing is, one of the perks that we offered was for people to actually like have a development session with the director. So those people who get that perk will impact the film itself.
Wow.
So it's
That's amazing.
I'm very excited. I love the comic book medium, and I hope that we can do more of these.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really, really cool way of approaching it. So we're totally open. It doesn't just have to be feature films. We've got television, we've got animation, comic books. As long as there's that creative, if there's a fandom around it, or we can build a fandom around it,
You're about
it's
it.
fair game.
Yeah. Right on.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, look at my next question was Jay and Silent Bob. What made you guys want to, join in on the reboot?
Well, so that goes back to our relationship with Stan Lee.
Okay.
So you may or may not know, we organized a handprint ceremony for Stan Lee. But the reason that we did that was Stan gave me my first big break in Hollywood. So I've known him for 25 years. Prior to this. And when I told him about Legion M, he said, David, a movie studio owned by the fans, that's such a good idea. I should have thought of it. and he was allowed himself to be quoted actually in the LA Times. So he was one of the first big
backers,
proponents, and owned shares at a very early time. And we said, Stan, one of the things we're interested in doing is a virtual reality interview, because we want people 50 years from now to be able to know what it's like to sit at a table and be around you.
Yeah.
And is there somebody that you would want to interview? And he didn't hesitate. Well, yeah, Kevin Smith, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So we called up Kevin and asked if he'd do it. He said,
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So we shot it with 2 8K cameras. So 16K stereoscopic. You literally, you can't project it. It's beyond human perception. I mean, the technology had to come up. So that hasn't been released. But while we were at, shooting this stuff, I was like, we should probably get some footage of people about, how Stan has impacted their lives. And I'm like, has anybody ever, done like a show about that? And another executive was like, does he have his hand and footprints of the Chinese? And so let's find out. And he didn't. And we're like, let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
And then we had this incredible party, and Stan was awesome. And Stan's wife had just died 10 days earlier. So we didn't know whether he was even going to show up. But it ended up being, I think, really great for him to be around his fans at a really hard time.
Of course.
So once we met Kevin's like, this is a good idea.
and once you get him talking, there's no stopping him, right?
There's no stopping him. And he was the MC for the handprint ceremony. And then when Stan passed away, Kevin and I were actually supposed to see Stan like the Friday before he died. And we weren't able to do that. And I went to Kevin's podcast. He died on a Monday. It was on a Tuesday. And I said, dude, let's do a memorial for the people.
Of course.
Yeah. And he said yes. And so it was in the course of all that, that we found out that he was doing this. He didn't need to bring in Legion M. He didn't need our money. But he took it because he believes in what Legion M stands for. So that's how all this happened.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Hey,
we're not just we're not like Blumhouse.
Right.
It's like just one thing. We want to do what our fans want to see. If it's science fiction, it's great. If it's a biopic, if it's a heist film, as long as there's something that everybody can rally around. Something cool, something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to see that you guys entered the View Askewniverse.
Yes.
Maybe there'll be more in the future. We'll see.
Clerks 3.
I cannot wait.
I'm really super excited about this. So Brian O'Halloran, obviously Dante.
Yes.
Not even supposed to be here today.
He's here.
Yeah, I know.
Right there. So it turns out he's an old school Dungeons and Dragons player.
Oh.
And tomorrow we're doing a speed D&D Tomb of Horrors module.
Oh my God.
Run by Luke Gygax, the son of Gary Gygax, and Brian's playing.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
You guys should come by. It's 1:30 in room.
Oh, we'll be here.
40 AB. It's on Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You can do it. Come by.
Okay, yeah. I think we will.
Yeah, no, we're into tabletop, and we're trying to find projects.
Very cool.
That kind of tap into that.
Suggestion: do a Settlers of Catan.
Totally, I do that.
There's definitely a following.
The triple expansion.
Where else can where can we
donate? You can find out everything you need to find out about Legion M at legionm.com or Legion M. That's our website, Legion M Official on Facebook and Instagram, and WeFunder. If you actually want to buy shares, there's a round open. So go to wefunder.com.
Okay.
Oh, well, David, this has been a thin slice of heaven. Thank you for your time.
Are you kidding, man?
We're gonna
come by anytime.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being on the Foo Bar Show, David.
Thank you very much.
You guys,
thanks, David.
Thank you so
Thanks
much for coming by.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we're back. Wow, that was a great interview.
I love the direction he said that they're taking, and what really hit me yesterday and what we just heard is when they're actually they're recognizing the talented fans and their likes.
Yeah, the fan sourcing is
that's
a great
really
aspect.
competitive advantage. He's right.
Yeah.
Because you're doing fanfare and you're doing shit the fans want, which is what makes these movies popular.
And it makes for really cheap advertising.
Yes.
Very powerful and very affordable advertising.
They're doing the marketing for them.
Yeah.
And also helping them with talent acquisition because they are finding this, these talents or, these sources of literature or material that they think would be popular. And you know what? It's working. They're doing a good job. They're also working along, as you heard, they're working along with the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and that's a great story that he told.
Yeah, and Clerks 3 is now on board with them, so goddamn, dude. I'm really glad Kevin Smith didn't kick the bucket.
Oh, yeah. Wow. No, hey, man. I agree.
He's coming out with some good stuff.
Christine, my friend Christine and I saw the Jay Silent Bob panel, and they were kind of fucking around with the guy that was doing the sign language interpretation.
Yeah.
And he's just like, say, shoobity doobity, shmoobity booty. And he was just like, I don't know how to translate that. and at one point, Jason Mewes said Jason Mewes is, what did he say? He's like the king of all cunts. And he made him sign it. And he's just like doing one of these taps where like he's doing the downward triangle and he's tapping it in front of everybody.
So that's the sign for cunts?
Yeah. Apparently.
Nice.
All right, you guys see
It's just what we thought in middle school, Food.
Yeah.
I knew it. Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond upside down is pussy.
He was just calling everybody a cunt
I know.
on national TV.
He was ahead of it all. Hey, look, there's a guy that's dressed as Winnie the Pooh.
That's not a guy.
That's China's president, man.
That's not a guy either.
Whoops. Well, continuing on.
I've actually been seeing a lot of Luffy's and a lot of Toga from My Hero.
Yeah. There's a lot of Luffy from One Piece. There's a lot of Toga, Himiko Toga from My Hero Academia.
She was actually sitting next to us earlier, and she had like the little blood extractors attached to her.
Oh, dope.
It was fucking sick.
That's dope. We've seen a lot of Dekus, and a lot of Bakugos around here. So.
A shitload of Dekus.
Shitload of Dekus. My Hero actually just premiered. The anime, season 4 just premiered today, and I saw the episode on the way to the con. And I'll wait for the Food to see it before I talk about it more. Maybe
Good douchebag.
Maybe I'll wait till next week's and recap both of them for the fans that are My Hero Academia.
Also, speaking of Winnie the Pooh, I just brought that up. And did you guys watch the most recent South Park episode?
There's two. There's Banned in China, and then there's what was the other one? Shots.
Shots was the newest.
So
Banned in China one.
Oh,
my
man.
God, dude! South Park is just.
They don't give a fuck anymore.
They're like, cancel us. Do your worst. Guys.
Well, as a result of that, China has taken them off of their internet. Like, that's it. Like, there's no more South Park in China. And as a matter of fact, Matt and Trey put out an official apology to China that says, like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. Z doesn't look like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune into our 300th episode this Wednesday at 10. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May this autumn's sorghum harvest be bountiful. We good now, China?
Right? Does this meet your needs?
Yeah.
The episode, if you guys haven't seen it, go out and see it. It's fantastic.
Yep.
It's just great. Just great stuff. This whole season so far has been great. Even the last one, Shots, where they're trying to vaccinate Cartman and he just runs around like a little piggy.
Oh my God, the most ridiculous.
That was the most ridiculous episode they've had to date, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's so great. They even have a big-ass rodeo just to pin and vaccinate all the kids. Oh, man. That's what we need now.
They might become artistic, man.
Oh, man.
Love that play on words.
Yeah, great. Going back to the con, though, me and the Foo actually got to test out a new upcoming game that's currently out on Steam.
That's right.
For Blowfish Studios. The game was called Obey Me, and it was pretty goddamn good. They actually had a 6-issue comic book series, if I'm not mistaken, right? That you purchased?
Yes, Comics 0 through 5, and I purchased them all.
Yeah, and you're gonna get to reading them, obviously. I hope.
No promises.
Well, and then
He's gonna do it. I'm making him.
You got pretty far in the demo, man. So what do you suppose the story's all about?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, all it shows so far is that you have the ability to work with like a demon dog, and if you play co-op, you can play both as a demon dog and the main character. You fight a bunch of what seems like demonic characters. It doesn't really give you too much in the demo, but the gameplay itself was goddamn captivating.
Yeah.
So Obey Me from Blowfish Studios. Here, I got it here. Obey Me is a world where heaven and hell are locked in a millennial conflict for the souls of mankind.
Goddamn millennials.
I know. And a cooperative holy punk brawler where you fight hordes of demons, mutants, and angelic machines, foo. And that's exactly what I was doing. I'm just fighting a bunch of mutants.
Okay. It reminded me a little bit of like a Final Fantasy type of play, but where it's more fluid, where you're not stuck having to fight somebody. You can still like hit other people at the same time.
It reminded me of League of Legends, that type of format where it's like third person, a little bit elevated screen above the playing field. There's also another game, I think it was Gauntlet.
No.
No. I'm saying the game that it reminded me of. It used to be on Xbox, Gauntlet, where you could play up to four people. I'll remember the name, but they actually had another game that they're promoting or demoing. It was Winter Ember.
And the big takeaway from this game was it wasn't playable, but the transitional like storytelling scenes are like animated, or it's pretty much animated. So they had the two artists there who did all the scenes for the video game.
Yeah.
So again, you couldn't play it, but it was showing all the transitional, animated scenes and story. The kind of like a storytelling method too.
Yeah, and what the Foo means is an animated. Also, it was an anime style. I think that's what he's trying to drive the point at. Like it looked like you were watching an anime show, and the cutscenes. And they released a companion comic, which, by the way, is a great idea for any video game, any movie, really.
Anything.
Just to bring out companion source material before it releases. I mean, that gets people excited.
Even the Legion M VP David we spoke with, he even said that too for that Western cow,
Girl with No Name.
Girl with No Name, yeah. Like that's what he said too. Which made it super popular is that they made him, kind of a teaser. Storyline comic.
Introduce the characters to everybody first before you show out with the movie. There'll be more fanfare when that movie comes out.
And that way you're not wasting valuable movie time, world building or story building.
Yeah.
It's established and it's like, all right, let's get to the the conflict, the real issue, the real motive of the story or the movie.
Let's get to the nitty gritty. Yeah, exactly.
Word.
So, guys, I think we're about to wrap up here at the ye old con. Is there anything else you want to touch up on, Food, that I may have missed?
Not really, man.
Lightsaber, man.
Yeah, you got your lightsaber.
Yeah, I actually purchased one of these battle lightsabers. It was like a mystery box for like $75. They had you can get a mystery box for like the ones with sound, but that one was $200. I'm not about to do that. I got bills still. But
Josh is stupid with his money, but not that stupid.
Yeah.
Not that stupid, guys.
Pretty stupid, though.
No,
you're pretty dumb. Well, thanks for listening to Geeking Out with the Foos. Remember to like and follow @FooBar Show on our socials and rate and review on all podcasting platforms. I'm Joe C. Fooing it up with
Josh
and
El Foos.
and
Step.
don't be a dick.